Alright, all you loot-grabbing Vault Hunters out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And yeah, we almost forgot to mention about that wrestling game. We would have asked for a Money in the Bank ladder match for it, but since we know how hard it is for certain modders to try to really add that into the game, we decided to kibosh that request. Now, Hell in a Cell, on the other hand, yeah, I got a feeling that's going to be a difficult question or, thing to give too, so we kiboshed that as well. But the first wrestling game that actually releases a triple cage will be behind it 100%. And I think there's one wrestling game that I can't remember the name of that's currently working on an actual scaffolding match. Don't remember the name of it. But besides wrestling games, folks, and before we go any further off the rails here, we might as well, for the first time in well over 6 weeks, go into yet another edition of the Outside the Box review, or something that I got a feeling that Brad Pitt or Morgan Freeman would like to call, What's in the Box? What's in the Box? Never gets old. Never gets old. Well, to me. I don't know about the maestro, but to me, never gets old. And the game we have up from Outside the Box for this time, folks, it's the third installment of the Borderlands series known as Borderlands 3. And before I get corrected out there, I now do realize that this is the fourth installment of the game series if you count Borderlands the pre-sequel, which we don't. And technically we should, because it really does connect with Borderlands 3, but I digress, because the meat and potatoes of this game is you play as the Vault Hunters, known as neither Mose, Amira, Flack, or Zane, who all tries to stop the Calypso twins from their evil reign of terror of trying to open up the Great Vault and destroy the world as we know it. Or the Borderlands as we know it. And what do I like about this game thus far? Well, right off the bat, the one thing that I loved about this game is the amount of loot you can get at a moment's notice during this game. I mean, the second when you first start this game and just walk across the fields, you run into an enemy called a loot bot or whatever the world it is and shoot it, you can get a rare gun right off the bat the second you start this, and it's absolutely wonderful. Another thing that I loved about this game is the multitude of different weapons they decided to add to this game, and even was able to add alt fire options to certain weapons that you could use, which is always helpful for when you want to try to actually shoot somebody from around the corner. You can actually shoot a smart dart down on the ground. It will scan the enemies around the room. You can hide behind cover, and almost like something from out of Wanted, you could shoot a bullet to curve around the wall and take out enemies, which is absolutely awesome. And the maestro just asked me who is my favorite Vault Hunter thus far while playing this game. And it's a tie between the Beastmaster Flack or Amira the Siren. And the reason why? Well, one gives you an option to actually use a miniature pet to help you out on the field that if you mark when you reach a certain level, it can use a rocket launcher to take people out. Yeah, a little monkey-like character that uses an SMG, a shotgun, or a pistol to try to help you out in open combat, and can even revive you when need be during this game, which is always helpful. And on the other side of the spectrum, yeah, the other reason why we like Amira for this game has to be the fact that she's the closest thing to Brick we're possibly gonna get for this game, since they didn't have a Brick-like character in any of the Borderlands games for the longest amount of time. And before anybody says Zero, he's more or less stealth than anything else. But yeah, we're really hoping in the near future for this game, since we haven't beaten it yet, that's why it's on the outside the box review, we're hoping that they add more Vault Hunters in the near future with different sorts of powers to make up for the other characters that they've taken out in the prior games. And oh, we're also hoping in the near future that they have the laser cannons that was featured in Borderlands the pre-sequel, which according to the Maestro is another game we need to review in the near future. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. And with everything that we liked and didn't like so far for this game, with a full review coming for it in the near future, most likely in September. If you guys want to play a game that features a bazillion guns that'll probably take you 10 years to try to use them all, and in some form of giant crazy weapon test that involves you going across from planet to planet to try to take out a litany list of different bandits that all gathered underneath the one ring of the Vault Queen known as Tyreen, and I'm a poet and I don't know it, then I'd recommend you go out there and cop that disc. And before we go, we almost forgot to mention another thing that we liked about this: the fact that you can teleport from planet to planet and you don't have to go to the waypoint station to actually go back to different places. Always helpful. And oh, the fact that they added the ability that you can actually teleport to your car, yeah, another helpful thing. So keep up the great work, Gearbox. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into this music once again. And when we return, we'll be back with another edition of the Indy Wall of Fame right after a word from our sponsors. So don't run out of continues just yet, folks, and stay tuned.